Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, tonight we're going to cover a couple of ayats in the Quran about music. One of the brothers noticed that, he brought up when I said in the last video about certain ayats in the Quran. When I was discussing how some of the fuqaha and different people differ over exactly what is music. Is it an instrument? Is it drums? Is it the lyrics? But anyway, so when I mentioned that there's Quran ayats, so basically we're going to go through that. Because, of course, you have people who say, that music, Quran stuff, that's hadith, which I'm going to get to that. And that trivia question about the two ayats that disprove that you should follow the sunnah and the hadiths or whatever. And there is a percentage that disagree. It was getting close. I thought it was going to be 50-50. It got down to the point where it was like 61 and 61% said that it did, and then 39%. So it was almost 60-40. But now, a couple of more votes that came in, so it's like 70-30, I think. But I thought it was going to get 50-50. Some people, they don't care. the hadiths is just going to always be fake to them, no matter what the Quran say. And then those ayahs that even refer to following Rasulullah, like I just wonder what people feel like following the Rasul means. And these misconceptions, man, that they have about hadiths in their head. But anyway, so some people who want their music is our culture. You can't take it away from us. That's their way. That's hadith. That's those Arab scholars. They have their nasheeds. You know what I'm saying? But a nasheed is sitting around. Like I say, sometimes if you have heard a nasheed, you may notice there's no drums in it. You may notice there's like no flutes in it. You know what I'm saying? Because like I say, some of it is debates over its specific instruments. Not every last instrument. It may just be a harmonizing of voices. But you have people who listening to some music about beat that bitch with a bat. You know what I'm saying? Blowing brains out. True stories about real murders. The person who rapping, it's a real story about an actual murder that he did, even if he killed a kid on accident. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll be like, they got their nasheed. They don't say nothing about their nasheeds, but the nasheed is, Ya Allah, I could never repay you for your mercy. Thank you for sending Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to guide mankind. Not that I'm saying we should have nasheeds. I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but I'm saying a nasheed may be about something like that. But then you got the person who listening about a true murder story in a song. Oh, well, they do. That's our culture. They don't say nothing about them nasheeds. You know what I'm saying? They listen to a nasheed over there. It make them want to get up and make salat and go to the masjid and be good to the family. We listen to some music over here, and then we want to get high, kill something, and fornicate and all type of other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not every last song, but it's really no comparison to say they got their nasheeds. They don't say nothing about their nasheeds. But according to some people of fiqh, some of those nasheeds is permissible because it don't have particular instruments and drums and stuff in it. You see what I'm saying? Whether it's right, whether those opinions is right, but there is some scholars, so they doing it in accordance with particular opinion of scholars. But anyway, let's get to the Quran ayat. I'm going to read a couple of verses how it start off. We're going to go with Surah 31. Surah Luqman, Surah 31. And we're going to start with ayah number 1, right? Alif Lam Mim. And I'm going to use Tafsir Sati. Alif Lam Mim. These are the verses of the book of wisdom. Guidance and mercy for those who do good. And see, we those are things we need to catch on to. Like where it says, these are the verses of the book of wisdom. A guidance and mercy for those who do good. See, if you do the opposite of what Islam tell you to do, you won't get the guidance and mercy from this book. You're not going to get what the Quran is trying to give you. This is a guidance and a mercy for those who do good. Good that's in accordance with Islam. Not, I won't go into too much detail, but those are the type of ayats that need to stand out and grasp our heart. And then when you deal with enough tafsirs, and you could tie them into other ayats and hadiths, like where it say, those who have a disease in their heart, Allah will increase that disease. And then it has basically, like, because when they read the Quran, certain ayats that's only meant for Allah to understand, they try to give meaning to them. They basically twist the Quran the way that they want to understand it. Therefore, the disease in their heart increases. Allah increases it. So they get worse. So when you're able to tie certain ayats together in the hadiths on them, then you understand the Quran. This is a book of wisdom and guidance and mercy, but it's the guidance and mercy for those who do what Islam tell them to do. You see what I'm saying? You can be in a particular category and read the Quran and get worse, because Allah going to increase that disease in your heart because you twisting it up to what you want it to be. So that's continuing on. Those who establish prayer. Alright, let's keep that down. The book of wisdom, a guidance and mercy for those who do good. 1. Those who establish salah. 2. And give zakah. 3. And who believe with certainty in the hereafter. That's everything that's included. That's 5 things listed there. And in the hereafter, that's everything that's included in it. The questions in the grave, the possible punishments in the grave, seeing the hellfire. That's everything that comes with the hereafter. Alright, now we're finna get down to it. The ayah we want is 6 and possibly 7. So then ayah number 5, that was the first 4. This ayah number 5. It is they, right? Keep in mind, the ones who do good, the ones who establish the salat, pay zakat, who believe in the hereafter with certainty. Is one more that I left off out of there because I know I counted 5. Hold on. Those who do good, establish prayer, give zakat, and who believe in the hereafter with certainty. Okay, alhamdulillah, it was 4. Right? So it is they who are following guidance from their Lord. And it is they who will prosper. This doesn't necessarily mean in the dunya. This is prospering because you on a guidance from Allah. The guidance of Allah leads where? To Jannah. To good in this life, what Allah considers good, what Allah loves. These are the ones who following the guidance from their Lord, and it is they who will prosper. So like when you notice in your Quran, when you read, it'll give a good category. Then it'll come and give a bad category. It's separating the people. Then sometimes it's separated to the point where it say, these people here, they are the mu'min. Then the ones who do this, and this, they are disbelievers. Then the ones who do this, and this, they are hypocrites. So it'll categorize it for you. So right there, these are the people who going to prosper. These are the ones who on guidance. Now it's finna go into the ones who basically the opposite of this. And this is the ayats that we want, right? But you gotta know how to you gotta know how to dig into your Quran this way, and I promise tafsirs, and definitely tafsirs, but hadiths also, because hadiths give you the situation that was going on. Right? Now, coming into ayah number 6, now there's a but. Right? But among people are some who resort to frivolous talk, some who purchase idle talk, some who use theatrics, right, in order to mislead others from the path of Allah without knowledge, and to make a mockery of it. For these people, there will be a humiliating punishment. Right? So, there's the category of the people who's on Allah's guidance, and they're headed towards success, being prosperous. Right? But amongst these people are some who resort to frivolous talk, purchasing idle talk, which means they're how in the deen, when it refers to you can sell your soul, or you earned that era, you got what your hands purchased, that type of a purchase, because like you might not even be paying money for it, but you still involving in these frivolous talks, purchase idle talks, right, in order to mislead others from the path of Allah without knowledge, and to make a mockery of it. For such there will be a humiliating punishment. So theatrics, they came up with ways to waste people time and come up with stuff to take them off the deen, to distract them from listening to the Quran, to distract them from seeking knowledge. This was their aim and goals. So they came up with distractions through, like I say, frivolous talks. So we'll get into it. So there's a footnote that they added in, which we're going to put in here. We're going to read it, right? This verse was revealed concerning An-Nadr ibn al-Harith, who acquired books of tales from the Persians. So it's fairy tales, made up stories, falsehood, right, from the Persians. He would narrate these stories to the Quraysh and say, if Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling you the stories of Ad and Thamud, I'm telling you the stories of Rustam, Esfandiyar, and Chosroes, right? Frivolous talks here refers to spending one's time listening to baseless tales. People just sitting around lying and making up stuff, right? And stories, jokes, kind of like what we refer to as joning, roasting, whatever you call it in your area, where y'all just sit down and have a contest talking about each other, right? And idle talk. It also includes singing and music. Now that's the footnote, but it's showing why this ayat was revealed concerning An-Nadr ibn al-Harith. And that's what I was even speaking about, like why their fiqh was stronger, because they was there. And imagine when this Quran ayat was revealed, and this Quran ayat is revealed and it's referring to you. And it's not to the good. You know? And then on top of that, nobody knew this is what was in your mind. Nobody knew this is what you was on, but Allah knew it. And then he revealed it in the Quran for everybody to know. And you be the example to learn from. So this is the verse and why it was revealed concerning this foolishness that dude was talking about. Rasul gonna talk to y'all about Ad and Thamud, which is in the Quran and different ayats. He gonna talk to you about that, but I'm gonna talk to y'all about this from these book of fairy tales and garbage that I bought from the Persians. So now this Quran ayat was revealed and saying what? This person is going to get a humiliating punishment. And it's kind of like when I read this, and I don't want to throw it on nobody, but I see where Muslims, and I'm saying personally, like when I say stuff, I don't be judging people, but I do be putting it out there, just like how I notice sometimes, like when I be saying like a penitentiary thing, that don't mean I'm trying to knock Muslims who've been to prison, and that don't mean every Muslim who went to prison didn't get some good deen. It's some people who went to prison and came out and made excellent imams, went to school, changed their life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying it from that point, right? So I'm saying this where I'm starting to see a new phenomenon, and I seen it come and go. I seen it happen once, it died out, and now I'm seeing it happening again, starting in 2024, where a lot of Muslim brothers, I ain't gonna say a lot, but some Muslim brothers and Muslim sisters is putting their books down. They not learning no fiqh, they not learning no hadiths, and they putting it down to read books. Like, you know, some of the women they starting to read romance novels or books of horror, scary horror books, right? Some of the brothers putting down their stuff and they wanting to read The Art of War and the 48 Laws of Power, the 50 Laws of Power, and they're focusing on that. Not saying you can't benefit from none of that, but when you look at this, to what this Quran ayat was revealed, it was a person who's sitting up saying, the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is talking to y'all about stories in the Quran, but instead I'm going to talk to y'all about these. I'm putting that deen down to talk about these baseless books, these made up stories of entertainment. I'm going to choose that to talk to y'all about instead of the deen. So when this Quran ayat is referring to the people who make this choice instead of the first 5 ayats, the people who going to prosper, the people who want a guidance, then it break down to these people really making a mockery of Islam. And now they want to distract you with it. Hey, read this book, listen to this book, listen to this music. Let's sit down here and roast this, that, and the third. And it's distracting you from seeking knowledge. I'm seeing Muslims who had a whole bookshelf with tafsirs and all this, and now it's being replaced with romance novels. Spending money, having to buy a whole new bookshelf, and horror stories and Chucky movie books and all of that. And you know, but like I say, to each their own. I just be like, you know, subhanallah, but I pay attention. And ayats like this pop out in my head, like subhanallah. You know, people who making the same choice you making, Quran ayats was revealed about them. And it says a humiliating punishment is what they're going to receive. But your goal might not be to distract others, but you oppressing yourself. You're distracting yourself from getting the knowledge. Okay? But keep in mind, this includes singing and the music. Because sometimes when you see they separated singing and music, because you can sing without instruments. Just like you may have one of your favorite songs And it might be in your head. You walk around your house singing it, but there's no music playing. But the lyrics is still something that you shouldn't be singing. Then music is basically these exact same words to a beat. Or you sitting around listening to some jazz. So singing and music. Now this is just a footnote. Now let's get to the tafsir though, right? And let me add number 7. That was ayah number 6. Look at number 7, right, before we get to the tafsirs. So for these people, look at what some of the punishment they in for, a punishment, a humiliating punishment. Now look, when you read the tafsir when you read the ayats and you know how to understand it, you can see what some of that punishment is. Look what it says. This is ayah number 7. When our verses, the Quran, when our verses are recited to such a person, they turn away arrogantly, as if they never even heard what you said to them. This also if they're reading the Quran themselves. Not even if you talking to them, they reading what the Quran say, and they still turn away from it. Like they never even heard it, as if there was deafness in their ears. And we talking about, look, deafness in their ear, real deafness. Where you can't even hear an explosion. You can't even hear the loudest sound on earth if it happened right here next to you. You can sit up and tell them the Quran said this. You can sit up and show them the Quran said this. You can read them the tafsirs. They can read the tafsir themselves. You can show them the hadiths that go with it. And it's like you said, they didn't hear a single pinch of it. Meaning what? They heard what you said, but they turned away arrogantly. Well, I'm going to change it. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this decision. Might create some bid'ah. Like I said, when y'all listen to some of the stuff that I've been talking about, and I'm saying we starting to notice, people starting to create their own religion. The same way like I use the same stuff, like people in my family who want to be Christian, but they don't want to do church. They don't want to do this. And they had this. I have my own personal relationship with God, with Jesus. And they just make their religion up as they go and call it Christianity. Muslims is starting to do the same thing. So let's say, for instance, this Quran ayat has something about doing this and that. I'm going to do it anyway. I got my own personal relationship with Allah. And I believe Allah gave me a sign that it's okay for me to do what I'm doing, because I feel like my circumstances justify it. But look at the category. These individuals who indulge in frivolous nonsense over the deen. And then sometimes they would rather indulge other people in all this frivolousness, this music, these books, these other stuff. Not saying you can't read a little, read you some books that's not about Islam. Not saying you can't watch, TV. Not saying you can't listen to a little song or two when you're cleaning up. But you got to be careful. And then you have to look at yourself, like where I was reading from the book about holding your nafs accountable and then punishing your nafs. Being harsh on yourself. You have to sit down and be honest with yourself and say, okay, do I listen to more Quran and Islam, or do I listen to more music or read non-Islamic books, watch a whole bunch of TikTok, Facebook reels, and YouTube videos of people eating Taco Bell nuggets? You know what I'm saying? Do I do more of that than I do Islamic studies? Daki. When a conversation is had with you about the Quran says do this, the Hadith say do this, do you have I don't want to hear that no more. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing until Allah give me what I want. Then I'll stop. See what I'm saying? See how one thing that we look at is minute. Look at the punishment that it leads to. We don't even know that it's a punishment. And then what's even worse, being in this state, being in this condition, and you don't even know it. So then it says, with this individual, give them the tidings of a painful punishment. Let them know Allah Azza wa Jal gonna put that belt on you. But you don't know what it's gonna look like. But you know what? You gonna feel it. You gonna feel it. Right? But then again, but for those who believe and do the righteous deed, there will be gardens of delight to abide therein forever. And this is a true promise from Allah. And Allah is almighty and most wise. Allah is almighty. It's easy for him to make it happen. It's easy for Allah to make it happen on either end. It's extremely easy for Allah to put that belt on you. And it's extremely easy for Allah to put you in Jannah or put you in paradise and make you prosperous in this life Islamically. And Allah is most wise. He has enough wisdom. Allah has perfect wisdom in knowing who deserves what. So when you come to the category of the tafsirs, now we get to the tafsirs of ayat number 6. But among people are some who deprive and are left to their own devices. They're deprived. They're not on the guidance from Allah. They're left to their own devices. They're wandering around blindly, choosing error over guidance. They resort to this. They choose and prefer frivolous talks. They purchasing it, right? They'll pay for it. They're going to do whatever they have to do to get to it. Look at this. They prefer frivolous talks. That is, talks that distract people's minds and prevent them from attaining sublime goals. This includes all kinds of prohibited speech and all kinds of idle talk, falsehood, which is lying, or made up stories, exaggerated stories about fights you may have been in, or lying about girls you've been with, right? Falsehood and nonsense that encourages disbelief. Tell me that ain't music. Music be full of falsehood, nonsense, and it encourages disbelief. It might talk to you about killing. It might talk to you about stealing. It might talk to you about how you need to pack all your husband or boyfriend stuff up and kick them out. Right? It might talk to you about all of this. It might talk to you and encourage you to worship the devil. Right? It encourages disbelief, evil doing, and sin. Evil doing and sin, as well as the talk of those who oppose the truth and argue on the basis of falsehood. They're going to use falsehood to argue the truth in order to undermine the truth. There's backbiting, there's malicious gossip, lying, reviling, insulting, like the cracking jokes on each other, the roasting, whatever you call it in the city you from. Singing and musical instruments of the shaitan. and foolish talks in which there is no benefit in either religious or worldly terms. It don't benefit your deen or your dunya. This frivolous talk, all of that falls under that category. So it's more than just music for the people who had these debates. Now, is this all music? No. Is this all musical instruments according to some scholars? No. Which I won't, I might dig into some of the hadiths and break down. Like I say, I'm telling y'all that's what it's even the debates and the stuff going back between like some of the scholars. They be like, okay, these scholars say it's a drum. Then these scholars say, no, it's a drum that you hit with your hands and not with sticks. Then these say, well, no, it's a drum. It's something, but it's the type of skin that you have covered over the drum, but you're beating on. Like, it get real detailed. And I don't really need all of it because this right here is enough for me. Do I listen to music sometimes? Absolutely. But I'm not a person who sit around and listen to music. When I work out and I be boxing, sometimes I put music on. But some of the music that I listen to when I work out, there's people who make workout music. Right? Like Stickman, he used to be in a group called The Dead Prayers. It's called the Workout CD. And he literally rapping about working out. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not justifying it. Even with some of them instruments, I listen to it sometimes. Sometimes when I wake up and I'm scrolling through social media and it might be some clip and they might have a song that I used to like when I was younger back in the 90s. And then when I get ready to go to work, I might pull my phone up and pull that mug up on YouTube and it's hooked up to my car and I might listen to the song on my way to work. I'm going to be honest about it. It's a fitna for me. It's a struggle for me. Not like others. It was times in my life. As soon as I woke up, I turned music on. I used to listen to music more than I watched TV. Especially when I used to indulge, as we call it. Back in my days of indulging, I throw me some music on and get to indulging. I go sit in my car. Me and a couple of guys throw the music on, or me and Babs Bunny sit out there and listen to some music and indulge. You know what I'm saying? I had it. Music was everything. I'm in a bad mood, turn this on. Listen to me some R&B. Back when we used to iron our clothes real crazy, throw that music on, clean the house up spotless, iron me some clothes, and indulge. Just no TV on, no nothing. Just playing music beating, bumping through the whole house. Yeah, I'm not that. You know what I'm saying? I go a very long time with no music. I don't have to work out all the time with music, but occasionally I throw some music on. I might be watching a movie. I still watch TV. I still like my shows. You know what I'm saying? You might be watching one of them shows or something, and then a song might come on in that. Next thing you know, I go play it once or twice. You know what I'm saying? Then I come back to my senses. It's still a fitna for me. I'll be honest about it. But I ask Allah to help me with it. But it's not to the point where I definitely don't deal with that stuff and all that other foolishness more than I deal with the deen. No, sir. It ain't even a close comparison. If I had to compare the two, all that other stuff and all that foolishness is probably, I'd say 7% compared to me studying and me dealing with the deen. I got a couple of chairs right here, right? Where I set my books and stuff on that I'm really dealing with. Right now, for real, wallahi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 books. 18 books just right here by my little table that I'm dealing with. Wallahi, right over there, it's like another 4 books. And then in my book bag, my books that I carry to work, it's like 5 books in there that I had to take to work to study for classes. Okay? All right? So it is I do what I gotta do. But you have to be careful. But let's continue. Let's continue. These type of people choose idle talk over guidance. All of this falls under idle talks in order to mislead others from the path of Allah without knowledge. That person you might be misleading from the path might be yourself. You could be oppressing yourself. Right? That is, so in order to mislead others from the path of Allah without knowledge, that is after going astray by their actions, which I had just explained it in my own words, but let me show you how they word it. That is, after going astray by their actions, now they're leading others astray by what they talking about, what they telling them, because misguidance of others stems from being misguided themselves. Subhanallah Adhim. This frivolous talk, this music, these unbeneficial romance novels, 50 power laws, and all this other type of stuff. You reading the 50 laws of power, no knock to nobody's job, but you make sandwiches at Subway. I'm not knocking that. Wallahi, I would do it. Okay? But you reading 50 laws of power, what you going to do? Take Subway over? Instead of reading Quran. That's why I say, like this new thing where I'm seeing all these people doing these affirmations. Today you're going to be great. Today you're going to be the queen of all. You're going to be the queen of this. You're going to be so beautiful and you're going to hold your head up high. Today I'm going to be the king. I'm not going to bow down. All these affirmations. Instead of just saying, Allahumma, Allah allow me to do this today. Instead of dua to be that, they done been taught by these kuffar. Let's do these affirmations. What you think is what you becometh. Okay, think you a billionaire overnight. And then think it on Saturday, and then be a billionaire Sunday. Then you know what I'm saying, man? What they starting to rely on this stuff other than du'as. They buying into some forms of frivolous talk. It sounds good, and it's placebo-ish because for some people it might be working for them. But if Allah decide otherwise. You might just be walking around like the emperor that had no clothes on. For people who know about the story about the emperor that had no clothes on, he let some people sell him some invisible clothes. Just stood around and doing like this. He think they making him some clothes. He's so big-headed and full of himself. Now he walking down the street butt naked in a parade in front of all the people butt naked, thinking he got the finest clothes on. Sometimes you look like that and you don't know it, baby. Straight up and down. So, like I say, this frivolous talk, it misguides others by distracting them from beneficial talks, beneficial deeds, clear truth, and the straight path. Such people cannot achieve that unless he criticizes guidance and truth and make mockery of the verses of Allah and ridicules them and the one who brought them. If he combines praise and promotion of falsehood with casting aspirations upon the truth and ridiculing it and its followers, he will lead astray those who have no knowledge and are deceived by what he tells them of arguments and statements. And I'm going to stop it right there because these individuals, they'll call people, these people who don't want to let this stuff go and they want to be Muslim rappers and this and that, they're going to call people to that Muslim rapper, Muslim gangbanger, Muslim murderer part of life, as opposed to the masjid, put that down, be halal, live this type of way. But they don't realize that they're misleading them. They might have aspirations to become the next Muslim rapper. Not so that they can build masjids, not so that they can sponsor people to go to the universities in Mecca, Medina, and Egypt, and Africa, and Kuwait, and a couple of the Islamic universities that they have here in America, which is fairly decent, some of them, right? Not so they could do that, so that they could get jewelry, intoxicants, cars, and BITCHs. That's what they call them. The tag-alongs, the hang-alongs. So they can get BITCHs. The fine is BITCHs to walk the United States and the globe, all in Brazil. Huh? When you pay attention and look at it, music, a lot of this music that we listen to definitely falls into this category. Now some people, now you have some people who they gonna fall into the mockery because they don't want to give it up. Well, it doesn't specifically say that it's haram, don't do it. I didn't see the word haram. Did you see what it lead to? Don't you know that anything that's haram, how you know that it's haram? Because it has a specific punishment from Allah Azza wa Jal attached to it. What's the punishment? Is Allah saying there's a painful punishment that comes along with it? What's that painful punishment? When the Quran is revealed to you, when you read it yourself, when people talking to you, you turn away from it arrogantly. But you don't even know it. You know you ain't supposed to be doing this. You know the deen go against that. I don't want to hear that. People been telling me that for 10 years and I still ain't changed. I'm still going, Chief. I'm still going to indulge. Some people indulge other ways. I'm going to keep indulging. That ain't what the Quran say to me. Now you're making a mockery out of the religion. Just like it say, that ain't what the Quran say. That ain't how I understand it. Boy, you need to be hit upside the head with something. Sister, you need to be hit upside your head with something. It breaks it down perfectly. That's how you know it's haram. Oh, well, I don't feel like you. They do they nasheeds. Oh, we always got an excuse. Now you making a mockery. And you don't know. Did the scholars sit down and say, oh yeah, that's some nasheeds. That's correct. No, it might just be people who do nasheeds because they feel like it. Just like you do rap music, drill music, trap music, gangster rap, because you feel like it. Regardless of what's said. You understand? It's just a reality. A lot of these books people reading, books on voodoo and the ancestors and the Bride of Chucky, the maintenance man, wake up and roll over. Sitting around reading a book about waking up and rolling over and all this other stuff. 50 laws of power, man. I'm about to take Subway over. Now you're trying to manipulate the other Subway worker, and you feel like you done tricked them to put the lettuce on the sandwich, so you don't have to. You learned that from 50 laws of power. Like, wallahi, I'm not trying to diss nobody who working, because wallahi, I will work them jobs, man. I will. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, man, this stuff, it really don't benefit you none. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and then, like, I'm finna close out. But when I was saying in my video about, like, the sister look in the mirror, that wasn't me trying to say, because, somebody, people always talk to me. That wasn't me saying, sister, you ugly. Look, I'm saying if you look in the mirror and you say these things about yourself, but they're fixable. You don't like what you're seeing. The brother's going to see the same thing. And it's fixable. And if you're going to be a lazy wife and you want to base keeping him off of traction, then be attractive. Fix that stuff before you get him. But that's why I emphasize, he probably don't have a problem with that. His main problem is, because like I said, if he sat down with you and if he's willing to marry you, then what you got going on, your looks, it don't bother him. It's about your character and your attitude and your personality. That's what it's about. But I'm saying, if those are the things that bother you, because sometimes me mentioning that, because listen, when I'm saying something, best believe it's from some conversations and stuff that I done heard. So like some people may feel like, oh, that hit me right on the head. But we didn't have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? So like, these is things where, because I be talking to sisters and then when they be married and they looking in that mirror and they feel that way, and then next thing you know, guess what they do? They go start putting wigs on and putting weave in their hair. You know what I'm saying? Man, I wash my hair and my hair look like a black cotton ball. I'm just saying, I did like this. My hair look all scrunchy and this and that. I usually don't do nothing about it because I wear a hijab. Okay, the brother might not have a problem with that, but she can't accept that in her head. Okay, well, when you're looking in that mirror and you see that, then fix it in a permissible manner. You know what I'm saying? Do something about it. Because the brother is going to look at it too. And if he's somebody that's so, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it makes you ugly or unattractive. This is how you view yourself. If you go look in the mirror and say, I need to fix, because you best believe, like I know some, like I say, this is real conversations that I have. I know some Muslim sisters who, when they go look in that mirror and be like, hey, I'm finna kill him. I'm gonna get everything I want from the NIWGA just cause I look like this. Face, body, hair. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I need to fix on me is these empty pockets. You understand? But then some look and say, you know, dang, I could lose a little weight. I could gain a little weight. I can be a little thicker. You know what I'm saying? My hair look like a cotton ball. Do something about it. And if you or you're gonna have to do more than just get everything you want off how you look. Be cool. Try to keep your man. Trying to keep your man doesn't mean you getting your mind manipulated. Women be out here trying to keep their man, and other women, they down. Oh man, you don't want to find you a dummy. Sisters get turned down at sit downs. Oh, that's because hey, I gotta say it, man, and I'm done, I promise. Sister, man, you know, I guess because of things that I know, there's a hadith about the way Allah feels about an arrogant, destitute person. An arrogant, destitute person. You have a Muslim sister. Her bills, because of low income housing or whatever the situation, no knock, no judgment, no diss. All her bills together ain't even $300 a month. The little luxuries and the little things that she want, she don't even really have none of that because she don't have no bread. $500 a month, she be living like she's in Hollywood. But then you have a brother who can afford to spend $2,000 a month on her. Well, their lifestyle, their home, everything, he got $2,000 budget per month. $24,000 a year towards their lifestyle. Vacation, bills, clothes, out to eat. But then he turned her down, and then she'll say, "Oh man, the brother just can't. He can't afford me because I ain't no basic bitch." Like, well, what is a basic bitch, sister? Oh, well, a sister who this. And then they'll stop talking because they'll realize, guess what they doing? Describing themselves. You ain't got $1 million lifestyle. It $500, $300, $400 a month can maintain you. $400 a month, you good. The brother just turned, but they gotta come up with something. It can't be them. It can't be their attitude. But anyway, man, I ain't gonna do that, man. So this right here, just some tafsir, some Quran ayats. Not only is it music, but keep in mind there's a punishment that comes along with it. That's the punishment comes from Allah, and it's a punishment that you might not recognize. You'll be turned away from this Quran. You could end up getting worse. You'll call yourself Muslim and don't have no deen, but think you got all the deen in the world. That's a punishment from Allah. And if there's a punishment attached to the deed that you're doing, guess what? That means it's haram. So for the ones who really know how to read their Quran, this, that, and the third, whether people want to debate over it's the words that's spoken, whether it's the instruments, this, that, and the third, this one said, that one said, you don't even really have to read your Quran. You really don't even have to read your Quran to know that. But our desire, because we grew up on it, and the shaitan influence on so many people, we don't want to give it up. We don't want to give it up. It's a major part of our life. Anyway, man, may Allah help us all. Help us all to grow in this deen and get better. And, start really working on trying to implement the education that we getting. And see, let me show y'all something about misguidance. I'm sorry, y'all. But I want to mention this one thing. Because I mentioned that I married a couple of brothers to some non-Muslim sisters, right? And it was a Muslim sister who was around, right, who tried to tell me, wallahi, it was haram for you to marry them. You gonna get punished by Allah for that. I'm like, what? How you figure that? Because she has to be a chaste woman. How you know she not chaste? Because she has kids. What? Being chaste means that you gotta be a virgin. And I ain't gonna say point out specifically the student, self-proclaimed student or whatever, whoever I know who said it. I used to listen to him say it all the time. You know what I'm saying? She used to be a part of that particular group heavy. So when I said this right here, when you married to your husband, the Quran say you got to do what? Even the male and the female, you got to do what? Guard your chastity, right? Like, yeah. If being chaste means that you're a virgin, how you gonna have sex with your husband? How you gonna have sex with your husband? They was like, they had a Scooby-Doo moment. Whoop. The super duper Salafi, the best, the only ones that we can listen to, said to be chaste mean you gotta be a virgin. I don't care what they said. Now, yes, a virgin who's trying to stay a virgin, yes, she's she's guarding her chastity. But you can be done had sex before and still guard your chastity. Don't be running around here loose with your parts. But Fulan and Fulan, let me guess, they said Sheikh such and such said it. Let's go look and see if Sheikh such and such really said that. But first, we could just start right here with the Quran and tafsirs from multiple tafsirs. Matter of fact, while I'm saying it, let's Google it. I ain't finna Google it because you might can Google it. But this was years ago. This was probably about, because the Nikah, one of them was around about 9-10 years ago. It was about 9-10 years ago. So this was like, it was about 9-10 years ago. Yeah, that's haram. Allah gonna punish you. What? You can't marry her, that brother. You just mad because Muslim brother done married a only way you can marry a non-Muslim woman, she gotta be a virgin. Such and such super Salafi of the best masjid in America. He said it. I don't care what he said. I don't care what he said. That's not correct. But anyway, man, so this just shows, man, sometimes, we just don't have the correct understanding, man. And if we put down them love stories and, all this new music and different things and hit them books for an hour a day, then we might know for ourselves as opposed to what somebody done said. Anyway, man, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.